A simple Google search will tell you that 3,898,000 students graduated this academic year, only from the United States, majoring in software-related degrees, such as computer science and IT. So if we pull up the approximate data of people entering the software market every year across the globe, we might actually skip the whole discussion. While students are graduating in crazy numbers, a simple scroll on LinkedIn is enough to vouch for the unemployment, which is spread far and wide. So the industries are growing, jobs are being automated, which needs people skilled in software and related subjects. But the graduates are unemployed. How does this equation not fall balanced? To address these issues, a recent survey of employers demonstrated that the majority of college degrees are redundant and don't equip students with the necessary employable skills. In the software industry itself, many people are losing jobs because of a lack of up-to-date skills. At Archi's Academy, we provide training for project management, product development, and program development so that, along with your college degree or previous experience, you also have experience in the market. At Archi's, we mentor you with hands-on training, live projects, and interactive online classes which not only skill you for the job in the future, but also upskill your already existing ones. With our add-on coaching for interview and communication skills, we make sure that you do what you say, and you say what you do. Our placement and support are extended to you even after your traineeship ends, so that the transition process is easy and you are fully prepared to code away. Be at Archi's. Code your future. A simple Google search will tell you that 3,898,000 students graduated this academic year, only from the United States, majoring in software-related degrees, such as computer science and IT. So if we pull up the approximate data of people entering the software market every year across the globe, we might actually skip the whole discussion. While students are graduating in crazy numbers, a simple scroll on LinkedIn is enough to vouch for the unemployment, which is spread far and wide. So the industries are growing, jobs are being automated, which needs people skilled in software and related subjects. But the graduates are unemployed. How does this equation not fall balanced? To address these issues, a recent survey of employers demonstrated that the majority of college degrees are redundant and don't equip students with the necessary employable skills. In the software industry itself, many people are losing jobs because of a lack of up-to-date skills. At Archi's Academy, we provide training for project management, product development, and program development so that, along with your college degree or previous experience, you also have experience in the market. At Archi's, we mentor you with hands-on training, live projects, and interactive online classes which not only skill you for the job in the future, but also upskill your already existing ones. With our add-on coaching for interview and communication skills, we make sure that you do what you say, and you say what you do. Our placement and support are extended to you even after your traineeship ends, so that the transition process is easy and you are fully prepared to code away. Be at Archi's. Code your future.
Hello. Hello, everyone. My name is Taufi. I'm the CEO and founder of Archi's Academy. Really nice to see you guys today again for another mentor session with Archi's Academy. I'm glad everybody is taking your time and joining for this amazing session with Shwetha, who is our senior HR in Amazon. And for a bit of a backstory, we have been students of one of those colleges, esteemed colleges in India, and we had together, we have been in the universities together, and I have known Shwetha for a quite long time. So I really appreciate her time to join to expand her knowledge and giving that amazing experience of how she have ended up to here and getting that knowledge for you guys to grasp that and proceed with your life in terms of a successful path. So with no further ado, I would like to introduce Shwetha to the stage, and then let's meet her. Hey Shwetha, how are you doing?
Hey, hi, Toffee. Long
It's
time.
been a very long time.
Very long time. I'm so glad to be here today. Hi to everyone that's joined in.
And how is the weather today? Is it raining? It's in UK, so it's raining or not? That's the first question.
No. So we are in the thick of summer. It's a warm, sunny day, to be honest. Um, this weekend was lovely. Today is quite warm and nice too. I'm hoping this good weather lasts for a bit.
Yeah. I mean, do you carry your umbrella all the time? Just want to be like, hey, it's gonna be raining just all of a sudden or not?
Actually, yes. So we do have jackets, all of us, the rainproof ones, because you literally don't know when it'll start raining, and the wind
Right.
is quite strong too. So the umbrellas don't really help much. Um, Unlike the rains I'm used to back in India, where it
Yeah.
really pours and when it rains. So it's different here.
So I want to give a shout out first of all to the people who joined. Like first of all, we come from the state, same city, kind of like the people who are from Kerala. Hey, big shout out for you guys. Well, we both are from there, and then also the shout out to our college. We were both together in FISAT Federal Institute. We studied there, so shout out to that as well to all the teachers, all the professors who made us in the first place up to here, who helped us our journey to start with. There are several people I want to remind them, all of them here, who kind of molded us in terms of helping us out. Like, hey, in the university, you learn something, and you didn't might be applied all of it, but definitely the guru and the teachers who gives us that path towards helping the sharing the knowledge. So big shout out to all of them, especially to Fizat, Kerala, and everybody from India. But here it's a global stage, so I don't want to too much into that, like bias towards that. We have a lot of people who might be joining from different countries. So Shweta, to quickly start with, to people who does not know you, can you please introduce yourself, what you do right now, and things like that?
Yeah, for sure. So, like you said, I'm glad that our paths crossed during engineering, and that's how we know each other, and our paths cross again. But maybe just to briefly introduce myself, after my schooling and all of that, I did engineering, worked for a couple of years as a software engineer. Then I did MBA in human resource management, after which I worked in a couple of organizations in India, Wipro and HP. And then I moved to Amazon, and I've been with them for the last about close to 5 years. Um, I moved to London last year. So within Amazon, I am a senior HR business partner. Um, so I lead the HR support for a business group, for a diverse business group based in EMEA, and which is spread across the countries of UK, Ireland, Spain, Luxembourg, Romania, Poland, Netherlands, Turkey, and Egypt. So that's largely my remit. So I oversee elements such as talent, performance management, org health metrics, support our business stakeholders, some bit of hiring. So things like that is what I currently do now. Um, yeah,
Great,
and I'm based
great,
in
right. We have so much of questions in that sense anyway. You said about the region, like where Archie's Academy is global in the first place. So we have a lot of people from India, and then you said about Turkey, hey, welcome to Turkey anytime. I'm located right now in Turkey, so I'll host you when you come here, and then
London.
so we briefly discussed about it. There are a lot of places who we can visit over here in Turkey in the first place. So, and the hiring, and then the other parts, which might be the curious questions, like people who does not reach to a first time job opportunities and people like that. So we'll get to that in detail a bit later. First of all, like let's go back all the way back. Like we started like from our engineering time. From engineering time till now, did you thought that one day you will be reaching Amazon, or you like dreamed of to be reaching a company like as big as Amazon, and how the destiny kind of, I know you're a person who kind of, you believe in that a lot, and then how did you thought that okay you would reach here, in your words? Yeah.
Yeah, good question. So, at least when I look back at life, what life's taught me is everything is connected to everything else. There is a reason why I meet certain people or certain things have happened to me. So, the reason I believe in destiny is because my life has largely been like that. But having said that, is it just about being there and letting things happen to you? No. Then I think I then I would probably be discounting the vast amounts of hard work that I have put in from my end. Sure, I believe I was in the right place at the right time. Some opportunities did come my way. Having said that, I think at every point in time, it's important that at least from my end, I've strived to keep myself prepared and keep myself ready for opportunities when they have come my way. Um, and I will strongly believe in this as well. If 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 one doesn't motivate themselves or really put in the effort out there, then many a time that success that one might look for might not come to. While destiny plays a part, I believe that us as individuals play an equal part, a more important part. I mean, if I may say so, because
Right.
you can always look back and say, "Well, hey, I tried and it still didn't work out." But we you don't really have an excuse for not trying, right? And
Absolutely.
then saying things didn't work out. Um, so yeah, I think I believe in both a bit. And yes, there have been times when you really put in all the effort and things don't work out, but hang in there, because a few years down the line you will know, or life will teach you why you put in that effort at that point in time. It is going to get connected, add up to something as well. Um so while I believe in destiny, I also believe in us as being drivers in a bus that's traveling.
Absolutely. Like, I think I cannot agree more than what you just now said. Like being, for myself, when I'm taking in comparison with what you just now said, like
Yeah,
we kind of had the same path towards engineering. I think if I remember, you were in communication, electronics,
yeah,
or
yes,
electronics, right? Okay.
yes,
So
that's
you're
right.
in electronics. I was in instrumentation back in the day, and then without no experience in computer science background, I didn't study computer science at all. So I come from a non-CS background, nothing whatsoever. We you know how the universities like how our curriculums in the universities are not equipped with the skills which actually the industry required. That's the way how it works.
Yeah.
No blame to the universities or whatnot, but that's the way how it is. But from there, every path towards you getting, there are people who might be helped you to mold your future in terms of like the right place at the right time, I would just say. And then when you get an opportunity, grab that opportunity and make the full use of it. Hey, you never know, it may work, it may not work, but you have to give your try. But if you still got that opportunity and then throw that away in a different way, that's completely on you. You have to put that effort no matter what. That's what it is. You need to put that effort, and you have to, I won't say that working hard makes everything success. Then people who might be doing the labor, they would have been the richest people on earth. But there are ways of work hard and smart way in terms of getting that succeed in your life. So, and connecting the dots is absolutely the way how you see it, that you can see only once you experience your life to a certain extent. Then we have more to go. Okay, so the point what we discussed may be something like for a greater good 10 years down the line, so you never know that. So that's what it is. With that connection of dot, let's go back to FISAT where we were. And I remember we both were, the professors or the teachers would be vouching us, or that we were really energetic enough to say that we have done enough things in terms of organizations and placement cells and stuff like that, because we were there. Okay, so I can really recollect all the things which we have done in the past in those terms. um, how does that education really help you to mold them, like to the people who are students here might be the questions.
Oh, 100%, Tawfiq. Like, um, good question, actually. And it's so important. And I think, sorry to digress, but I think the education in India is very different to the education systems I've seen across the world too, just because of this. So one bit is the theoretical knowledge that you
Mm,
get in the classroom, that the teacher, that you learn from the prof or books. But real life, a lot of learning actually comes from everything else you do in college. So
right.
be it organizing events, being part of the placement cell, or any other clubs and communities that you are a part of. All of those life skills, right? How do you take the others around you along with you? How do you drive a group of people toward a goal?
Hmm.
um, know what to work on, what not to work on. So many life skills, putting yourself out there, pushing. And sometimes the goal, I mean, what you're doing may not even give you a direct result, right? It's not that you
Right.
study for an exam, you get marks, but all of these skills that you learn, like being able to build trust with your peers, being able to drive a group of people toward a larger goal, sometimes being able to understand when someone else knows more than you and following their lead to do certain things. So, all of these are life skills that are irreplaceable. And
Mhm.
I would I'll strongly urge everyone, right, who's listening to this, that if you have any opportunities like that in the places you are, you should go find time to do it. Um, these times are never going to really come back.
Yeah.
Super important for your
Yeah.
corporate life ahead, or whatever you decide to do in the future.
Small stuff, actually, what we do during that time does matter, even if it is like not everything is in relate with the salaries what you're getting, or monetary stuff, monetization which you're getting from that's not what life exactly correlate with it, right? You go to the classroom, as you said, you learn, you get graduate with a specific amount of marks, but that marks only will get you to a certain duration of your life. After that, whatever you're doing is about what you have achieved in terms of wherever the opportunity you got through, and then you pushed yourself. And those things, I believe, and whatever things which I did for my school or universities, or in the college, small things does able to make organizations, like putting all big together one auditorium and making sure they're organized and bringing the host into it. So those things does help me to get to a path where right now where I am, in terms of like being a person who has been an engineer, who has been a software development manager for a big companies, and then become an entrepreneur where I'm driving my own stuff in terms of spreading the knowledge what I come across. So please do that. Don't be a bookworm completely. Yes, it's great, but make sure that you put your effort for other things as well. Um, so the next thing is that, in your own opinion, when somebody is planning towards building their career, what all are the what all are the key aspects which you think that, like, a skill sets or key aspects which you think that they need to be followed on, from your experience at least?
Um, okay. Um, it's hard to say. I think it'll depend on the field that you are in.
Right.
Um,
Field.
is
Yeah, let's say in the software field what we are in right now.
Yeah, sure. See, ultimately, keeping yourself abreast with what is latest, I think that is super important. But sometimes your books may not be up to date, but really staying abreast of what's happening in the technical world. So, yeah, make Google and browsing and all of that your friends. Build your own networks. So, LinkedIn is a great place to actually find professional groups or people who know stuff in that field, to understand what's really happening. And then there are some free certifications too that you can do. Ultimately, making yourself really employable is key, and that is going to happen when your knowledge of of whatever you're specializing in is up to date.
Right.
So figure out what is your passion, what do you want to build a career in, and stay really up to date on that piece. So I think I can't say that enough. Um, I think it's important that while you're in school, you learn the art of learning, because I think, I mean, I think Tawfiq will agree. We keep learning every day, right?
Right,
On
right.
every day on the job, you're learning something new, and that
Never
I think
stops.
having that attitude, yeah, learning really never stops.
Yes. I
If
mean,
you
like
want
that. Absolutely, because if there's this. I mean, most people knows that probably. If you have a tree and you have an axe and you just keep cutting, 1 month you may be able to cut that tree faster, but over the period of time, the sharpness of the axe just go away. So you need to make sure sharpen that axe, otherwise just keep cutting. No matter what, how much you may not be able to get that tree down after some time. So that's the famous analogy with respect to learning as well. The axe is basically the tools you need to make sure you sharpen your skills, and for that you need to learn.
it,
So
I couldn't agree more. I mean, we've learned it through our career. So,
right.
I have over 10 years, 12 years work experience. And that is the one thing I can say for sure, that um, that attitude of having to learn every day, that's super important.
Absolutely. Me being still, I mean, I do have to take care of the business. I do have to take care of the company. I do have to give mentorship. At the same time, I do coding at night because I still do have a coder. So at the end of the day, I do the coding for the stuff because I love it what I do it, and I would love to keep that even if for 1 hour a day. I'm fine with it. And I just make sure that I learn something new in terms of that space, so that I'm always keeping up to that. Um, in terms of other stuff, like for example, for hiring, you are an HR manager, right? SR. So in terms of hiring, what all are the key trends in terms of, let's say, it can be in general, but being specific to Amazon, or it can be in general as well. What are the key trends according to you? Who thinks that, these are the technologies which people are nowadays, a lot of hiring is happening. So if there can be any specific things which you can point out.
Um, right. While I Okay, I'm not really up to date with what are the skills in the market. I mean, when it comes to coding and things like that. But
Okay.
generally, if I were to say, um, I think data analysis, machine learning, software development, engineering, all of these are really hot. They have
Hmm.
been for a while, and they continue to be really super skills. But having said that, in any field, right? If you choose to be an HR manager tomorrow, or a finance manager, great. But like I said earlier, um, knowing which companies have opportunities out there, going through job description to understand if you're a good fit for the role, and three, really staying current and up to date in whatever you choose to do. I think those skills are important, really, really
Absolutely.
important.
Absolutely. Just keeping adding to that, what you just now said, um, yeah, I mean, all those things which you said, machine learning and data analysis, software development, like engineering, blockchain, for an instance, this in the software tech industry, this has been for that quite some time, and then new technologies will always comes in as we go. So that's the thing. And opportunities are always there, even though right now there is a, what do you call it, a fear of recession which is happening. That's evident. But it's a cycle, right? We gone through one time, we go through second time, maybe we'll pass it through the third time as well, one way or another. But you cannot take your brain away from you, right? That's you, who you are.
Yeah, yes. For
Yeah,
sure. And I think staying prepared, right? I think there's nothing that can discount that hard work. And
absolutely.
and I think when you show up for the interview, being really enthusiastic, proactive, eager, any interviewer to this day likes candidates who really put themselves out there and show that the job really matters to them. That's going to happen only if you've researched the job well enough, the organization well enough, and you have the skills as well. So
True. Yeah, I
it's
mean,
the oldest rule in the book.
yeah, this is there is no the special formula which people who are listening for the first time, for God's sake, when you prepare for a job interview, this is no a what do you call it, a magic formula or something. But just want to make sure that I tell that you need to have an absolutely a great resume. That's one thing. You need to have a good resume which you have been put across in terms of, um, appropriate keywords are there, and showing themselves that, like, you who you are. And that's the first key thing to get you an interview. So you need to have, do not copy your resumes from one person to another. Try to be unique, for God's sake. That's what you can call it, like, it's a, what do you call, it's 10 minutes or maybe 1 hour. Okay, just spend that 1 hour to find it. Being an HR person, what do you say about that, having time spending on a resume?
I can't I can't stress that enough. Take that time out. It is your career, it is your job. You should
Right,
own every word written on
what
that
you put,
resume.
right.
Every word. You should know what you're writing, why you're writing, and that every person is individually created. Sure, you can get help from others, but your resume is yours.
Yours. It's very, like, this is where Archie specific we train over here, the people, is that we know that these things are out there, but people are not putting an effort to make sure that, like, to give an individual attention. Hey, Tofi is one person is different, and Swetha is another person is different, and Joe is other person, and Alice is different. Everybody is different. But when I see, like, in Archies, when we have people, we take the resume. Hey, prepare your resume, whatever you think you can do by yourself. Upload it to ours. We go through the trainees over here who can vouch for that. Like, we go through individual resumes and say that, okay, this is not good, we need to update. So they go through an iterations of over the period of our training period, maybe one time and two time and three time, keep updating to a resume which consists of the keywords. What are you applying for? And showcasing your GitHub profile slash LinkedIn, for God's sake. You need to have LinkedIn and be good at LinkedIn profiles. And that helps you to get the first shot, which is accepting you as an interview. That's the first stage. The next stage, probably, interviews. Is there any tips which you want to give, like, in terms of interviews? what
Yes.
what is it? Yeah.
For sure, showing up on time, having questions prepared for the interviewer, um, answering to the point. So, see, something that I keep in mind is keep your answer concise, precise. Talk about what the situation is, talk about what actions you specifically took, what did you as an individual do, and then what the outcome was. If you can structure every answer within this template, it makes it really easy for the interviewer to understand what you're saying and gives a structure to your answer. um, and then do not bluff if you don't know an answer. It's okay to say I
To
don't
say
know,
no.
I'll come
No.
back to you. Never put, never go down a rabbit hole that you can't come out of. So all of these things, right? And then, like I said, demonstrating eagerness, enthusiasm, being proactive, all of those things that we think, that we take for granted, I mean, are really good things to do. Having your camera on, ensuring your microphone is working, ensuring your face is visible. All of these little things, everything adds up, because an interviewer is going to spend 45 minutes of really valuable time with you. Look at it as an opportunity to impress that person. Um,
That's it. Yeah. Because you cannot evaluate, like, like, even if you get a job, that job's how you handle it's the way how you're going to keep the job. That 45 minutes, maybe 1 hour of your interview is just to make sure that the interviewer who is going to work along with you is kind of, okay, I am in this organization,
mm,
I can work with you. That's
mm,
what we are judging on. So it's not like my job is coming there to grill you and feeling
mm.
you bad, that, okay, to make you. There might be interviewers like that, but majority of the people are not doing that. It's not my goal who spend 1 hour to intimidate one person's how much bad you are. That's not what we want. We spend our quality 1 hour of our work hour just coming and talking to you. It's because of, okay, can I work with you maybe 1 month, maybe 1 year, maybe 10 years, or maybe until you retire? That's the decision which you're going to make in 1 hour. And then the rest of it is about, like, how you work along with each other, right? So it's super important, I believe, Swetha, you might agree too, giving a mock interviews, right? Giving a mock interviews.
120%. Definitely. So, in fact, I would take it a step further and even ask me, well, I have done it to write answers to questions on a piece of paper, really structure them, crystallize them, because you can't be taking up 10 minutes for one answer, right? You have to
Right.
give time for the interview to ask you questions. Once you keep talking and talking, that is a red flag too. So your answers need to be to the point, at the same time clearly communicate what you want to say. So you make notes, be really sure in your mind, have your facts and figures and data points clear. Give as many mock interviews as you possibly can. Time yourself. Yeah, I
Um,
fully agree with you on that, Tawfiq. It really helps build confidence.
I mean, like, it's very much difficult that when people are not able to even introduce themselves for 1 minute. Like, even if you're prepared for it, I always keep saying to the trainees of Archie's Academy also, like, the same thing. Hey, make sure y- you know we who most of the people who are might be in this meeting who are coming from a non it's a non-native English speaking countries, most probably. All right, so we have to speak like multilingual languages. Like, for an instance, I'm located in Turkey, just a life example. In Turkey, most people don't speak English because their primary language is Turkish, and people tend to speak English as their language. And whenever I am introduced with somebody, they will be like, "I can only speak a little bit," and they are what do you call it? They are hesitant to speak immediately. But over the period of time, when they are interviewing, making sure that they are like, I tell them to write it down, just to give an introduction about, let's say, 1 minute to 2 minutes, and then slowly build towards of it. That's what we are trying to do. And that same scenarios, let's say, in terms of different parts of India where we come from, we have the same scenarios, but at least being, I'm from South India, that. So we have to speak we might be moving from one state to another state. We might have speak English as a common language. That may be an advantage some of us might be done, which allows to do that. So people do mock interviews. Please, people do mock interviews there, and then maybe excel with that. That's what we want to do. I want to take 1 minute over here to introduce one more person. We have one more guest here. Like, she's our partner in Kerala, in India. Her name is Aisha. She's the CEO of TKM ICTP. She wants to join us here. Hey, Aisha, nice to be here.
Hi,
How are you
thank you
doing?
for having me. I'm good. I've kind of been checking in and out of the conversation, and it's really insightful. And
Thank you.
nice to meet you. Hi, Shweta.
Hey, hi,
Um,
Aisha.
nice to
So,
meet you.
So nice to meet
I
you.
have I mean, Taufik, if you'd like to say something more, and then I have just like a few questions, and I don't want to interrupt, so you guys can go
for
ahead.
sure. So just to want to give you, Sweta, like, Aisha is our partner in India. We having offline locations in India as well, to bring people who might be helping, for to start with my home city, home state, Kerala, where we can bring a lot of people from there to bring this global culture of training people in terms of how to build this career, in terms of how exactly the industry requires. So Aisha and me are helping towards that primary goal together. So it's very much relevant that, like, uh, like tech leaders like yourself is bringing in and giving that experience. That's the whole point. So Aisha, why don't you have I think you have a question. So if you want to go ahead and ask a question, like, go ahead. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, I kind of jumped in a little bit where you were, talking about, being from India, having like a certain, language barrier and things like that. So I did kind of want to just ask how, how would a student from here, from Kerala, without, again, as you had mentioned, Taufik, you don't have a background in computer science. How does a student like that with a dream to I want to work in Apple, I want to work in Amazon. Like, how do they get there? Is it a linear path? Is it, what does it take aside from, getting a degree and studying excessively? Is it a skill? Is it a skill that can be developed? Is it just how good you are, or, how would you, yeah, how does it work?
Thanks,
Yeah.
Aisha. Sweta, go ahead.
No, that's a great question, actually. I'm glad you asked. And this is something that I have learned over time, what I thought at the beginning of my career is very different to what I've learned actually over a period of time. Any day, it is how good a person is. Having good communication skills is a plus because it just helps you do your job better. You naturally have to work with other
Mhm.
individuals, so it helps if you're able to communicate your work. But having said that, just being really good at your job, developing the right skills, if one is able to do it on their own, like I said, getting certified, just going online, learning languages on their own, any one or any of them, or follow a linear path, clear their entrance exam, get into a good college, sit for placements and get in.
Mhm.
That path exists, but having said that, there is no surety that a linear way of going will get you that dream job you want. That dream job you will get
Right.
largely only if you demonstrate skills required for the job. I will just put it that
Sure.
way. The
In
degree you come
fact,
doesn't matter as much. Sorry, go ahead, Aisha.
right. Sorry to interrupt. I remember reading, and it's a lot of the big tech companies like Google and Apple and stuff. They don't actually require a student to have an undergraduate or a degree. They're hiring people just based off of skills. So that gives, I think, a lot of us hope in that we don't have. Maybe you can't afford to go for a longer program. Maybe you can't get into the best schools, but you have, you have a computer, or you have a place where you can just kind of get down and just study, and in a shorter span of time, and get hired in a big tech company. And that's something pretty incredible. That's why I like, and working with Archie's. That's why we are super excited, because to get this kind of opportunity, to have you here, Shweta, from Amazon, getting real time feedback, it's such a wonderful opportunity for our local students here. They're not going to find that kind of experience anywhere else, and I think it's so important. And so yeah, I'm grateful to kind of be here and have this partnership and be speaking with you all, because it's so nice to see that there is such an opportunity for students here. And yeah, so I just wanted to kind of say that. And
Thanks,
I'll
Aisha.
be checking.
I'll
And
just add one more point to it. All right. So here's
sure.
the thing. What just now Sweta said, that being the entrance exam, that's where we probably might have gone through that linear path towards it.
Right.
But I'll tell you one thing for sure. Um, if I was going to restart my career again, I might have chosen a different way to do it. That's for sure, because building that experience and skill is not something which I didn't know back then. And one more thing is that when I started, I didn't had the opportunities of having amazing internet, amazing laptops, amazing resources, the technologies. All those things were different when I started, so I cannot really compare with how I started versus how the people have right now.
Right.
That's the biggest advantage of the people. That's the biggest advantage in terms of when we speak about, hey, Google, Apple, and all does not require to have that degree. As a things changed, world
Mm-hmm.
is open up. Sweta, you were going to say something. Yeah.
No, I agree with both of you, and I want to add just one more thing, right? And that is this: your dream job may not be the first job you land. What I'm
Yes.
trying to say is, if you get a job, you're able to find something, put yourself out there, make the best use of what you have, and then ensure your LinkedIn is up to date. So, like I said, being
Mm-hmm.
staying up to date, relevant, having the right skills, that is probably going to land you that dream job. Until you get there, you make the best of the opportunities you have. The reason I say it is I've met people who just stay at home hoping or just applying for those dream jobs, right? Now,
Right.
these dream job companies too will look at your resume and your profile. And unless you have demonstrated some work in what you say you're good at, it's going to be harder. While some get lucky and crack it at the first instance, many may not. The most of us will not. And so it's important that to make the best use of whatever opportunity comes your way, while at the same time continuing to aspire, to prepare and to give interviews to those dream jobs. I want to kind of put that out there because
Sure.
I've heard this from many people saying, no, no, I mean, I wouldn't join there. I don't want to spoil my resume. I'll wait for this. Now, in my mind, that's not a very sensible way of
Mm.
going about it. Sorry, for
Mm-hmm.
lack of a better word. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if I could interject and say, oh, am I still here?
Yeah, you're
Can
here.
you
You're
see
here.
me? Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
you're
the power just went out because we've been having some power issues because there's construction. Anyway, I just wanted to say that well, two things. One is, of course, your point is you can't just be like, I'm going to do one thing and I'm suddenly going to start working at Amazon. Like that's not going to happen because, of course, you have to consider you're competing with a whole lot of people. So
right.
you have to have somewhere you are kind of staying. You
Upright.
have to be on equal footing or somewhere in that framework. So that's one thing, and so that's a great point. And Shweta, I have another kind of a more personal question. As a woman, for you to have reached a point like that, did you face any particular struggles, or was it again a linear path and there was no, what advice would you give for young women to get into kind of tech companies or predominantly male dominated kind of tech industries and things like that? Is there any advice?
Great question, Aisha, and I'll be candid. So when I started about 12 years back, we didn't know that. So, I mean, what I'm trying to say is the world's changed a lot. Now, there are actively programs to welcome women back to work. Diversity is celebrated at work. There is a business case for why having a diverse workforce makes more sense to business metrics than not. But 10 years back, that wasn't the case. Um, and naturally, yes, I have been the minority in many groups and many meetings. And many a time that has meant that I've had to work a little bit harder. I've had to um, be okay with taking some paper cuts in a way. At the same time, not losing confidence in my own ability. So I would largely put it down to having a high degree of self-esteem, self-confidence. Um, and hard work. Like I said to
Mm-hmm.
Tawfiq earlier, uh, um, really working hard, going that extra mile to put an extra effort, that does help. Sometimes you may not see the result immediately or for what you're putting effort in, but over a period of time, you will know exactly why you put in that effort at what point in time, and it will come back giving dividends. So, and
True.
having said that, in today's times, diverse workforce is greatly celebrated, and I think life
Mm-hmm.
is a bit easier from that sense. There are many meetings now where I find that people identifying with one community outnumber the other. Having said that, it's still a journey, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking because I'm in London now. In India, I think it's still a journey, and it's still going in that front. I know we are global, Tofi,
Right.
so um, definitely in Western countries, I know the workforce much more diverse than what it is back in India.
Right. I mean, to add to that point, like, our goal, like, you, as Sweta and Aisha, that Artist Academy's goal is to bring as much as women into the workforce as well, especially moms. That's where I've been advocating to the
Mm-hmm.
most companies as well, along with the people who are struggling to get an entry. I hold meetings with several CEOs or managing directors of different companies to make sure that the stigma around of people who want to bring back the workforce, and telling that, like, these guys have been trained well enough to say that they are ready for the job, but we give it the opportunities, especially what I'm saying, advocating the male dominant like software industry in general. Like, that there is a huge difference in gender gap also is there. Okay, in that gender gap also there is a definitely between, like, people who are getting graduated versus the people who might have graduated a long ago, took a career back and bring them back. And most people, let's say I come from Kerala, I come from India, we know that our social situations are like, sometimes you get married early, people who does that
Mm-hmm.
still, and then you get kids, and then that boundaries, or like, so your restriction of your career because of that, and then coming back to the workforce takes time. So who
Mm-hmm.
are the people who going to give them an opportunity? So that's what mentally you need to get prepared. Okay, I am good enough to get a job. That's the first thing. And most people, initial days of Archie's Academy, they are doubting themselves of their ability that they can do it. So that's where we are telling them, hey, you are the best in terms of it. Just believe that you just code. Don't forget the fact that you took career break. Forget the fact that what you did in the past. Think that you are starting now from zero. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Then 0 to 1. That's all we need. You are not going to all the way to the Mars. Okay, so that's not that we're trying to do. Getting a stepping stone. That's it. Then once after that, you can build your career accordingly. So, well, I mean, Aisha, you brought the point which is like strongly for me, and then I'm hoping that we can do that the work which we are trying to do and get as many
Yeah.
people as we can. That's what.
Right. Yeah. That's the that's what we face here, because we try to give opportunities to everybody equally, but there is this huge disparity between who's actually going to go for the courses. Even if we approach people and a group of students, you don't find women opting for these kind of things. You find them opting for English or journalism or this thing, because they feel like they don't have the capacity. They don't know, it's too technical, it's too this, it's too that. And they just a lot of it is just this immense lack of awareness, and again a societal understanding of what it means to be in this field of software, be in this industry. So it's taking time, but it's an effort. And I think we as a society and as an institute, and everyone at this panel, it's kind of what we're working towards. And I think it's a process, like journey, like Shwetha said she had as well. This is it's a different kind of journey, and it's what we're putting out there, I think, right now, and how we kind of spread awareness. I think that's going to make at least a benefit. Even if we have 5 women who never thought they could do this end up in a class and do it, that's a job well done. That's something. So
True,
that's
true.
the goal, really.
The family is getting changed, so that's what I'm also thinking. So
Yeah.
really good point there.
Absolutely. So
If I may
I just wanted to. Sure. Please.
No. On the same bit, right? I was thinking while you were speaking as well, and it is true that. I mean, it's interesting you say that even now we have few. I mean, if you compare, you have fewer women coming forward to join some of these courses as opposed to men. I think one thing that could potentially help, and that I feel women don't do enough of, is having your own personal networks, individual informal networks. I have personally faced it because a lot of women use their time in other activities, so like say child rearing or
Right.
household management, so on and so forth, and then don't devote enough time toward building your own networks. Super important.
Absolutely.
And if women can make an effort, and networks can be anyone, it doesn't have to be A person, B person.
Right.
As long as you start building your own social networks or even professional networks, those will yield opportunities, and a lot of goodwill will come your way. And if one is able to do it, those benefits will be very apparent for a period of time. And I think we'll be able to bridge that gap sooner, the
Sooner.
gender gap, I mean, sooner than later.
Right. So that's why we have we have
Right.
within the academy itself, we have mom squad group, we have she leads group, we have actually we have several groups of people are there, in terms of how we distribute, bring them to it. So it's a driving thing, and it's a community building at the end of the day, and trying to see successful success stories as much as we can, because that's the ultimate goal for me. And then with the help of Aisha and Shwetha coming and knowledge sharing of your stuff, because we cannot trade in terms of how much of amount of money with the things which we gone through in the last 10 to 15 years of your life in terms of work. You can really say that in 1 hour, but we can only say the path. Okay, it was not a straight path. Everybody, whoever comes over here, can say that I didn't came up to here and sitting here and talking to you guys in a one day. I have gone through several journey. I have gone through several ups and downs and stuff. I'm still going through those things. Okay, so it's not like, as you think that is everything is green and everything. No, it's struggle. Believe me, it is a struggle. So you have to be ready for it, and you will face it. There's no question about it. So okay, but you will reach there to a point of a goal where you can achieve something. That's what it is all about. um with that being said, that I'm just saying that I'm looking at the clock as well. I want to make sure the time is valuable. So I'm
Yes.
bringing, so Aisha, do you have more questions? That's what I just want to
No,
ask.
I was just gonna say I'm gonna pop out. I
All
just
right.
kind of ended up overstaying my welcome
No,
a little bit.
great
I just
question.
wanted to, because it was such a lovely conversation, so I just also lost track of time. I just want to say thank you for having me, and it was really wonderful, obviously, to continue speaking with you, Tawfiq and Shweta. Lovely to speak with you and meet with you, and it's really inspiring to see that you're the panelist as a woman, and as we discussed, and that Archie keeps also showcasing women in these positions. So I'm excited about that, and so thank you for having me.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
My
Sweta.
pleasure, Aisha. I'm so
Yeah.
glad that we could meet today.
Yeah, thank you so much. I would like to get that, like, the last bit of this particular session. I would like to have some questions if there are questions in the panel just popping in. So, okay, the first question. Yeah, people are ready to get the questions. Okay, so first question is a trainee from Archie's Academy, Ketan. How to answer a question related salary expectation for a person who gets started his or her career in the tech for the first job. Basically, what should be taken care of during negotiations. As an HR person, you probably have some tips, maybe.
Um, See, to be very honest, right, I would probably advise against negotiating salary, especially if it's your first job. I
So,
think I think the priority always in the formative years of your career should be to get the best job, pray for a really good peer group and a manager where you can really learn a lot. And over a period of time, you'll realize that depending on how well you do your job, the company will
and
look
pay
after
for
you.
you. Yeah,
Yes. And maybe to answer your question more technically, every job is valued at a certain rate in the market, and every company will peg its roles and salary ranges accordingly. So no one is going to be shortchanged, is what I'm trying to say. For example, if you're joining as an SD in a company, that company would have demarcated a salary range, say 100 to 150 for this role. So beginners will begin at 110, so on and so forth. So no large organization will ever shortchange any of their employees by unnecessarily providing something new. So
no,
I mean, largely that's my advice, especially at starting jobs. I think it's more important to demonstrate interest for the job and do really well. And then when the annual pay cycle comes, the company will largely take care of the individual. I think
absolutely. Like, the most important thing which I would just say that, um, give priority to your ability to grow in terms of uh, a place where you are appreciated enough to say that you are growing. So where you think that you are learning stuff which you couldn't have got an opportunity if you were a place where you got, let's say, 3x the salary, but you are doing a job which is like kind of boring and your growth rate is going down, and eventually you may not get the career, growth. Be a place where you can, if you are a starting point, and enjoy it. The time will tell how good you are, and that is inevitable. That your skills cannot be managed with, like, if the company is not paying good enough, there will be other companies who might be paying more than for to get you. That's it. So if your company didn't realize that one, then that's a loss for those people as well. So it's important that where you feel like your skills is getting improved, yourself, career, let's say learning something new, or keeping up with the communication skills, etc. And then salary is, I would just say that I it's very difficult to say through that. Like, I know that from companies, people who are coming from India or Turkey or other places where economy might be not the favorable for that, so you might be the breadwinner. Being sitting here, we might able to say that, okay, that's what. But it's in your head that you need to decide what you want, and see the things which you can in a longer term. It will pay off. For sure, it will pay off. So adding that, that's just started at the tail end of it. Yeah. Do we have more questions, or I just want to make sure. Okay, Vijay from Archi's Academy. All right. Starting a career after having a career gap is difficult for most companies. Don't encourage having a career gap. Is it the same companies like Amazon?
I think I would look at it differently. I don't think it's a question about companies do not encourage career gap. It's more about at every point in time, have you kept yourself sort of up to date with what is happening in the industry? And if you haven't been able to do it, then that's going to come out during the interviews and you don't get through. But having
True.
said that, most large companies these days have these back to work programs,
Internship programs. Yeah.
Exactly. I think keeping an eye out for programs like that, and to really preparing yourself for the role. So developing skills, ensuring it you are up to date, and even if you are taking a career break, if you can use that time to do anything productive towards your job, learn anything on the way, any useful skills, definitely, if that is a possibility, you should definitely consider that. If that's not, that's all right. But while you are looking at jobs, it's important that you take some time to brush up on skills, um, figure out what's happening current, talk to people in the company who are currently performing the role to know what gaps exist between you and the job, and kind of try to fill that up.
True.
Because naturally, it's a two-way game, right? While companies want to encourage returnship, it should also be such that that folks are employable at the time. Because
Right.
once you're in the company, you don't want to be in a situation where you're where kind of lag behind the others. So
True.
that
True.
will make life much more stressful than what it was. So I think it's elements of all of these, to be honest, Vijay. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
And adding to that, that's where our Archie is trying to bring the gap between the career gap slash to get that extra edge towards
Exactly.
the hiring.
Yes.
If you are just having a career break, gap, and then just sitting there, no companies are giving, you're not going to, because the reason is that you're not showcasing anything which is experience which you have done till now. For that, you probably need to have an up-to-date LinkedIn profile. You are active there, you're building your network there, you're posting stuff, something which you're learning, and having a good GitHub profile with even if your personal projects, something which you're done, lead coding. There are certain things which you can actively do even if you are not employed. So here's the thing, right? Employment versus getting employed is a totally different ball game there. Even if you are not employed, it doesn't really matter if you're occupied 3 months or 6 months period. Here we have training 6 months. Okay, so in that 6 months we provide training for themselves to build an experience so that they are not career gap anymore. So they have enough things to learn. If person is coming from non-CS background, okay, you don't know coding, let's go for a quality assurance testing roles, easy to start with. That allows to have some tools, languages, something which allows to get that experience to get them into a job opportunities. Once you get into a foot, oh, there is a stepping stone, I have it. From there you just fly. That's what we need to. So don't stop crying about I didn't get an opportunity, but change today. Go create a LinkedIn profile, go create GitHub profile, do those things to do it. Even if you didn't join Archie's Academy or not, doesn't matter. Just do it for your sake to get to an opportunity. That's what I want to say to in general. So just that's a great question and good thoughts, Shwetha, of yours also. You said. Can we take one more last question before we wind up? I just want to make sure we have 5 more minutes. One last question, if you have it, and I can take that. Or if there, okay. So we have somebody of Argon, David, who's challenges faced during a hiring of youngsters. I have so many, but Shwetha, go ahead. Youngsters, when you say that, like people who are freshers who just graduate out of the university, I'm assuming that's a thing. Who does not have anything, an experience at all.
Okay. So, if I understand the question correctly, is it that what challenges do organizations face while
I
hiring
think so. I'm putting in that way, like challenges faced during the organizations who just get a lot of freshers who is just without any experience at all,
Yeah,
from the university to the employment, like that
sure.
transition.
Sure. Basis what I have seen, if I were to talk about the three um, large, not issues, but yeah, in a way, one definitely is attitude. I'm sorry to put it out there, but a lot of youngsters who get hired think that they have achieved it all, like they've done their education and now they've found a job, and now they just want to sit back and relax. But actually life is very different. That relaxing largely ends with school and college, because there is money involved at work, and it's not really a place that you can just come to sit back and relax. So a lot of youngsters just stop learning the moment they reach the organization, and then that impacts their ability to perform well at work. In that initial 3 or 6 month period, I mean, people just take it very easy and then don't devote enough time to learn what's happening. That's one. The second thing I would probably think is a lot of them look at it. It's probably because they've just come out of school, so the expectation is their manager would come and tell them what to do, explain
Right.
what needs to be done step by step, and then, like in school, you just do what's needed and then you're done. Work is very different.
Different.
It's a lot about asking questions, figuring out what needs to be done, reaching out to a lot of people, making yourself really useful and valuable. Everything wouldn't be available to you in a platter, and that change is really stark. Especially our education system is very spoon feeding types, and then when you come to the corporate, it's a very different world.
Completely
I've
different.
seen a lot of freshers struggle because they haven't really built this art of asking questions. So I think our education system doesn't really encourage a lot of being curious and wanting to know. So I think, one, that initial attitude. Second is being curious and being want to know. I mean, wanting to know more, learn more. You know, those two things. And um, a third thing probably would be I think the third thing is similar to the first one, not being very serious at work, not taking work very seriously in a way. Um, but largely, I would just put it down to these two or three things: wanting to learn, eagerness to learn, being inquisitive, taking work seriously. So probably things
Yeah.
like this.
Yeah, the spoon feeding is one of those things which is like, most people are kind of known in terms of in their school days or in a university time, which is completely different when it comes to when you start working. Hey, like, sometimes you need to have to do Googling. You need to know that. You need to figure things out. Go to Stack Overflow. Most of the time, 90% of the things are already there. You need to figure that things out yourself.
Ask your
Ask
teammates.
question. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's no
So
harm in asking. No one will hold anything against you. If you ask questions, it's perfectly cool to ask questions.
absolutely, like here, that's one of those things. Attitude building is where we have something known as a business English, where we provide as a part of our training as well, like how to email, how to talk to your manager, how to be presenting your presentation, how to speak, how not to speak. That's another thing, right? What all things you should not speak in a work culture, and how you should handle a situation being a conflict happens. So those are the things which you might not never occurred in your school life. That's where we train, along with the coding, along with your experience of hands-on. We take care of a very importance on business communication or business English communication as well, because English has been the primary language in most countries, if you say that, like, building it. So yeah, we are putting that effort as well, to make the things. And with that being said, that I believe, like, we are reached time, so I'm just gonna wind up in the last note. Well, it's always great, okay, being this mentoring with Archie's Academy in terms of providing help, of spreading the knowledge, of building that network, like as you said, able to reach out to you, like, maybe you never know how many people who got inspired from your path right now. The time will tell that, hey, they attended this amazing broadcast, or the amazing webinar seminar, where I listened to it, and look, Swetha reached up to there, so does I can also join maybe Amazon or other big companies over the 10 years time. we as a people who can only inspire the people who listen to us, even if it is one person who take that into their heart and run towards it, this session is successful enough for that. And that may not be come out as like, immediate success. That can be come out as like, as in the future. So I would just want to say that I really appreciate that to take the time out. Like, I know that you had a lot of personal, you've been busy. I know that you have been like, last few weeks and few days. With that being said, that coming over here and spending this 1 hour for a greater good of people who can inspire from you, I really, from bottom of my heart, like, thank you so much for coming and explaining. So yeah, thanks, Shwetha.
No, it's totally my pleasure, Tawfiq. I'm so glad that I was able to join and I got this opportunity. And I'm sorry, for all the back and forth. And
No,
I,
like, nothing to sorry about it. No, it-
and I'm so glad that we could have find Lud in person. I mean, virtually, but still, video in person. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm glad that we could meet after so long.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we got a chance to catch up too. So,
Exactly. Like, I think we've been having phone calls and chat, but we never seen each other. Like, it's so weird that we are doing a video call on a live stream
yeah.
right now for after like, so many years. Well, that's the destiny is
Yes,
about, like, last time I saw it back in 2009 or something like that,
I
maybe.
know.
And,
I
that's where,
know. It's what 14 years, about a
yeah.
decade and a half. And I hope we get to meet in person too soon. I'll let you know if I'm coming there, and then
Come
we'll.
to Turkey. I'll take you out here. I told you, like, I'll come
Yes,
to Turkey.
I will take you up on that now.
Exactly. That's it.
I also want to thank all those who joined in, and send questions. If at all, and if you have questions that you still want answers to, maybe you can send them to Archie's Academy, and then they can send it to me,
Absolutely.
or something like that. I'll be happy to do that. You can find me on LinkedIn, so if you want to stay connected, feel free to do that. And I wish you all the very best. I hope you all are able to get those dream jobs, those career paths that you want. And I genuinely wish you the best, from the bottom of my heart.
So last but not least, we issue participation certificates. Since we are a blockchain-based company, we do everything in blockchain. The people who have attended today, we issue a certificate of participation as an NFT. So we have a NFT certificates. That's where we usually do it. So there might be some forms which is there in the somewhere in the chat. Like, I'm just virtually saying that, not in this chat. What we looking at it. Please do fill the form. Make sure that you fill it based on what you have gone through, and then we will be getting back to you via email so that we can send you across the participation certificates of what we have come across here and listen to us. Thank you so much, and thank you so much, Shwetha. Thank you so much, Archie's Academy, and thank you so much of all the people who worked behind the scenes. Thank you so much, Aisha, who came along, and shout out to all our partners, mentors who are coming across, and really appreciate your time, Shwetha. Really appreciate. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Bye.
Tawfiq.
Thank you. Well, that being said, that thank you so much for joining in today. Like I said again, for today's event, we will be issuing our participation certificates with who have been listening and who have been contributed, asked questions, etc. There will be a form which you might need to fill it, and then once you fill it, we will be able to send you. It's a NFT. That means it's a blockchain-based certificate. So we will be sending across to you. And if you have any questions how to join Archie's Academy and other things, please follow our social media, which is basically our LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, or any media. You can reach out to us. Our emails would be there in the chat. It's contact@archisacademy.com. Our websites are there. So all those information is available online. We will be having more and more mentors from different global companies, from Microsoft and let's say you can name it, Google. We had previously from Google. Last week we had from Apple. Now today from Amazon. So we will be having more sessions from these amazing companies and people who have been successful in terms of reaching out to that and spreading their knowledge. And looking forward to you guys for the next session, and really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Have a good one. Bye-bye.